Hi, everyone. Welcome to the latest Carson's Take 5 with Ryan and Sonu. Sonu, interest rates have been going higher. That means you're probably selling some bonds. The big question...
Somebody's selling bonds.
Somebody's selling. Something's happening out there. Is China dumping our bonds? That's the big question that we've been hearing a lot about. So maybe some more... places like to cause a little more trouble or stirring this up. But, I mean, listen, something's happening. We saw yields soar over the past couple of weeks, really, honestly, as concerns over maybe U.S., strength in the global economy, concerns about, inflation, concerns about trade. Just lump it all together in the pie and mix it up. But that's the question so many people want to know, and I know you've got some really good thoughts on this. Is it China? Is China selling our bonds, in essence, hurting us by pushing our yields higher?
We don't know for certain, but as certain as you can be in this business, I'm pretty sure they're not.
Got it.
We'll get the data in 2 months or so. Maybe by June, we'll get the data.
We're going to make it 2 months, Sonu?
Be better. Look, just so for everyone listening, with bonds, when yields go up and interest rates go up on the bond, the prices go down. Right? What we saw last week was massive in ever so many ways that, bond prices were going down because yields are going up. And then obviously, when something goes down, the price goes down. That means people are dumping it. Everyone's first question is this retaliation from China?
Yep.
Because of the 145%, is it still 145? Whatever it is, maybe 140, 125% tariffs. It's hard to keep track. So whatever, some massive amount of tariffs is China dumping. Look, why I say it's not likely them, very likely not China. That's because usually what would happen if China were to sell treasuries? For one thing, if you look at the entire treasury market, it's about $27 trillion. Okay. China owns about 750 billion of it. Maybe they have some holdings that they've hidden in Belgium or something like that. Let's say even 1 trillion. That's a fraction of the overall treasury market. So unless they're dumping everything at the same time, they really couldn't impact the treasury market. Now, let's say they were. What would they do? They would have to sell treasuries, in which case they'd get dollars, and they'd have to buy something with it. Now, they would buy their own currency, in which case we would see the Chinese currency appreciate. We've seen exactly the opposite. China's yuan has actually been going through, quote unquote, a gradual devaluation because it's very controlled by the central bank, right? So instead of the currency going up, we've actually seen the opposite. The currency is actually going down. Now, it helps them because it makes the imports cheaper. That kind of, ever so slightly at the margin makes, mutes a little bit of the impact of the tariffs, because the tariffs are like 125, 140%. So you'd have to see your currency depreciate a lot to completely offset it. But yeah, there is no evidence, at least not right now, to say that China is dumping U.S. treasuries.
Okay, so that's a big question. That's a good answer then. And I will say, I got my little glasses here. I'll just put them on for a second here. It's hopefully everyone has a happy Easter weekend.
Happy
I got my Easter. What are you doing? You guys doing anything for Easter? You hunting for eggs, or what are you up to?
I'm trying to get the family to, maybe you can go to church. And because my sister's here as well, and with the son, so getting a whole group together to go at the same time is always hard. There's many members of the family involved, and getting them on time. And but my daughter is apparently organizing an Easter egg hunt in our backyard or back area. So we'll see. I'm not involved so far.
Well, that's probably better. Let her do.
What about you?
Thing. That's fun. Yeah, no, we're going to a couple different family events throughout the day, and we'll still. My kids aren't too into the egg hunt thing, but we still are. So we're going to make them do it. So that's how it goes. But I'll take my eggs. But everybody have a happy Easter, a nice holiday there coming up here. So again, we've seen extremely high interest rates. Bonds have taken on the chin. Let's talk about the stock market for a minute here. We got a minute or two. We had a huge rally last Wednesday. Remember last week we talked about finally some good news. We find out so stocks have bounced off the mat. Yes, we were flirting with the bear market, meaning down 20%. Now we bounced nicely, but listen, it's an oversold bounce. It could roll back down. It really comes down to news out of Washington. We've laid out before the Fed's in a really hard spot here. The Fed, just keep this real simple. The Fed's likely not going to be cutting anytime soon. So to have some good news, it needs to come out of Washington. It needs to be President Trump. Maybe start dialing back, pulling back some of those tariffs that are out there. We don't know when that's going to happen. Nobody truly knows when that's going to happen. We've seen little glimmers of hope on that front, obviously with the 90-day extension. What 90? It's called 90 extension.
90 days. I think it's 90 days, right?
Yeah, 90 days where they kind of said, okay, everything's 10%, no more real expensive tariffs. I mean, 10% is pretty expensive, don't get me wrong. But China, you still have your 120 to 145, wherever it is. So there's some glimmers of hope. I mean, Sonu, you and I can talk all day on this because we normally do. When will we get some more clarity on these tariffs? You think is it going to be like a dial, like up and down, just all the time? I mean, what's your crystal ball say?
I mean, my crystal ball wasn't right the first time around because
That's
these
true.
tariffs have
Mine
ended
either.
up, much worse than anything I expected. So, for what that's worth. No, I think that we will continue to see this uncertainty because it's very hard to, given what the U.S. wants, which is to reduce trade deficits to zero.
Yep.
It's very hard for that to happen immediately. And then you have to make it quantifiable. You have to make it measurable. So how do you get into negotiations and make this happen? And then you're doing it with every other country in the world. And think of a Jenga thing, right? You pull one block out and like, oh yeah, we solved that. Yeah. But suddenly something else goes awry. And the question is what goes awry there, right? Yeah. So I think we are going to be in this uncertain regime, if that's what to call it, for a period now. And my guess is actually July 4th, which is going to be near around that 90-day mark. I can't wait.
Yep.
They're going to see another pause.
Fireworks.
Well, I could be wrong, but I think, fireworks. Yeah. Maybe we'll get another pause. But we did see that's the other side that's the bull case, right? Essentially, like one day President Trump could come out and say, we're done. And things rally.
Yeah. Well, that'd be nice. I wouldn't complain if we got there, but we're going to keep looking into it. We're going to keep watching it. We know uncertainty is high. We know it's been a rough year for stock investors. Let's put it in context. We did gain 20% 2 years in a row. We went a full almost year, well over a year without so much as a 10% peak to trough correction. We clearly have had that this year. It's been rough, but there are some potential positives that are still out there, and we're going to keep talking about those. And honestly, we'll talk about the negatives too. Whatever is in the news, we're going to be talking about in these latest Carson Take 5. With all that, everyone, again, have a happy Easter weekend. Have a happy time with family. And we'll see everybody next week. Take care. Thank you.